What's up? What's up? What's up, YouTube and Facebook? It's your boy Uncle Fred back in the house one more again with another banger video, and we're gonna try to give you a little content on a couple of things, a couple of developments in the world in the NFL, and a couple of things. One thing in particular in the area of college football that was I think was noteworthy and breathtaking. That groundbreaking. That's what I really should say. Go ahead and hit that like, hit that subscribe, comment, and hit the notification button. It's not going to be a long video. It's a couple things. So last night I was, actually early Thursday morning, about after midnight, right after I got off work, and I get a notification. Notification said Urban Meyer fired from the Jaguars. What? All right, I'm playing. I'm playing. Look, man, this thing was brewing for a long time, and I got an opinion on this, and it's probably not going to be a popular one. But yo, Uncle Fred look at things from a lot of different angles. I don't look at things from the angle that the mainstream media, the mass marketed of folks, look at, from that perspective. I don't run to everything everybody else run to, or the conclusions everybody else run to. I got to look at things from a different perspective. And sometimes my perspective is slightly different from what everybody wants to rush to a judgment on. So what do we know about Urban Meyer? So we know Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and and let's just give you some indications here of his what he did here. He coached at four universities, excuse me. And here we go. I get my computer to act right and quit doing stupid stuff. I'll be fine. But yeah, everybody knows he was at Jacksonville. Came from the Fox Sports Studios, where he was a college football analyst for about 3 years. We also know he coached at Ohio State from 2012 to 2017, or I think it was 2018. I'm sorry. Yeah, he coached there from 2012 to 2018. Okay. He also coached at the University of Florida from 2005 to 2010. So he coached there like 5 years, 2005, 2010. But many don't know, before that, he coached at the University of Utah Utes. And before that, he got his first coaching gig all the way back at 2001 for the Bowling Green. They're in the MAC. I can't think what their mascot is. Somebody probably can tell me on that. But let me tell you some of his records. He coached 2 years at Bowling Green from 2001, 2002. 2001, he went 8-3. 2002, he went 9-3 in a bowl game. And then he he parlayed that into a trip to a job at Utah, which is maybe a step higher. Now, they weren't in the Pac-12 then. They were in the Mountain West, I think, if they were at that time. So in 2003, he goes to Utah. They go 10-2, 12-0, 9-3, and no, I'm sorry. He goes 12-2 and 10-2 and 12-0. He was at 2 years. Parlayed that into a head coaching gig. Many people thought he was going to Notre Dame after Ty Willingham got let go, but he did not. He ended up going to Florida. Okay. Now, he had been an assistant under Lou Holtz, I believe, at Notre Dame before he took the Bowling Green job, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, he goes to Florida, and they go 9-3 in 2005, 9-3, 13-1 in 2006, and they won national championship. 2007, they go 9-4, which is Tebow's sophomore year. Then in 2008, they go 13-1 and win a national championship. 2009, they go 13-1, lose to Alabama in the SEC championship, and they go on to win the Outback Bowl, Sugar Bowl. Sorry. 2010, they go 8-5, and that's what he said he's gonna leave Florida and go, take care of his health. He had heart issue or whatever, he left there, but that didn't last for a year, and he ended up at Ohio State in 2012. And they go 12-0, but they're on probation. They go 12-0. They go 12-0, 12-2, 14-1, won national championship. 12-1, won the Fiesta Bowl, lost the game late. 13-1, 12-1, 11-2, 12-2, and then 10-1. Sounds like some Nick Saban numbers to me. So 2 years, he's at Bowling Green. He goes 17-6 in 2 years at Bowling Green. 2 years at Utah, he goes 22-2. 6 years at Florida, he goes 65-15. And 7 years at Ohio State, he goes 93-9. Which compiles a win-loss record of, I did have that. Where is that at? It was right here. It's like 230, like 130. No, here it is. 187. I can't read. 187-32. This is his record. All right. Then he goes to Fox, does his thing there from 19, I think, for 2 years, 19, 20, 21. And then he leaves there in 21 and goes to coach the Jacksonville Jaguars. Never had coached in the NFL before, but he's coached at 4 different places, at 4 different programs in college. And he goes to Bowling Green. Now, I know a lot of people are going to think, that's a terrible guy. He should have had that out. And I'm not going to look at it quite the way y'all looking at that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to say is that, did he make some missteps? Yes, he did. He made some mistakes. He made some missteps. He made some laughable. He made some gaffes that he shouldn't have made. Did I think they were of the fireable offense? I guess if you marry them to the fact of how bad the team was, maybe you could say that, but I'm not necessarily sure of that. I just think the times we live in necessitated that he get fired because of the times we're in. Now, I'm not in favor of the times we're in because I think we're in a cancel culture time where people, they don't give you a lot of margin for error. They're watching everything you do, and as soon as they find you doing something they feel like it's on to TMZ. It's on to Facebook. It's on to Instagram. It's on to Snapchat. It's on to TikTok. It's on to all of those things, platforms, YouTube or whatnot. It's on all these things. And you get castigated. You get raked over the coals. You get beat down. You get over, and it's inundated. Then you couple that with the 24-hour news networks and things that we have now that they're always looking for things to talk about. And you mix that all together, and that's what you got. Many times I wish things were like they used to be, because a lot of the things that we do today we go down roads that if you go down that road, you might have to do this because that's fine. We need to go down that road. It's paved with uncertainty, but we're going down there anyway. That's just my thing, and I'm one of those people. Maybe I'm just one of those people that don't like to take chances or whatever. But I kind of like to know the road I'm on before I turn on it. I like to know where this might go. If we do this, what might this lead to if we go down this road? If we do this, what might happen 4 years from now if we do this and then the things escalate? What might happen? And if that's something that we don't want to happen, or if it's an unforeseen thing, or if it's some unfortunate or some unpleasant end, then we might not want to take that road. That's just me. Okay? That's just Uncle Fred talking. Okay. So he gets the job. And first thing he did, and this is his first misstep, he tried to hire Chris Doyle. Chris Doyle was a strength and conditioning coach from Utah that fell under scrutiny because a lot of the African American players said he said a lot of things, a lot of things that were of a racial nature to them and that they didn't feel comfortable with. Now I'm with that 100%, but we got to be real careful with those types of things because we also know that a lot of times coaches will say things to you because that's kind of how coaching is. You kind of say some things sometimes, but when it go racial, yeah, we can't roll, we can't go there. So that's a misstep. So he had this guy with this cloud over his head, and he wanted to hire this guy. So he tries to hire this guy, and then he tried to double down on it when they checked him on it. And so I think that's when he ran afoul of some of the people and the powers that be and the culture people and whoever two movements or whatever, because there's always a two. Everything two is movement, So I think he fell afoul of those folks, and then they say, "Oh, okay, this guy's an arrogant whatever." So we're gonna find some things. So he tried. Then finally, the dude, because of the outlash and the backlash from the players, and that's one of the things Urban Meyer didn't take into account. That and understand this. When he's at Ohio State, especially at Ohio State, I mean, probably Florida too. People don't realize when these head coaches, especially if they're a largely successful head coach of these programs like he was at Ohio State and at Florida, these coaches are like gods in these states. They could do no wrong. Any whim that they have, it's done for them. Here in Alabama, Nick Saban could do whatever he wants. He could run for governor right now with winning a landslide. He could do that, okay? All right, because it's a little fishbowl, and everything circulates and revolves around that university. Okay, it's not national; it's local. So it's going to be an adjustment period. Okay, and so he pretty much used to. If I know the guy, he probably knew Chris Doyle, know him pretty well, and say, well, he might say some things. He all right, I can control him. But you on a national stage now, because this is an NFL team, and you got African American players, and they may not like that and whatnot, and you're trying to win favor with them, okay? Because it's a different dynamic in college than pro. Because in college, the head coach is the HWIC. He runs the whole thing. He does what he wants, and he controls it with playing time. Oh, okay, you don't like what I got to say. Okay, you won't play this week. Can kind of do that in the NFL because it's a kind of a players' league. Not as much as the NBA is, but it's a players' league. So he kind of should have known that, hey, man, this might not endear me to my players. So, you can get any guy to do the strength and conditioning and tell guys to get 225 off a barbell. You can get anybody to do that, So the dude ends up through all the stuff and the people that made a big hissy fit out of it, as they should have. And he resigns in 2 days or whatever. So then the second misstep is that he tried to bring in his boy Tim Tebow, who won him a national championship in 2006 as a backup quarterback, Chris Leak, and in 2008 as a starting quarterback. And they beat Oklahoma and beat Alabama in the SEC championship. I have to throw that in there because I roll tide and stuff. But Tim Tebow didn't make it that well in the NFL. Played a couple of years, like 2011, and I think maybe a little bit of 2012, and that's it. Played a little baseball. And it was the SEC network on the other networks, but doing his as a commentator and analyst type thing and whatnot. And I had been away from football about 8 years. So he called him back, and I want you to play tight end. Tim Tebow had never played tight end a day in his life, but you're going to have him back to play tight end. Now, I wouldn't have had a problem if he had brought him back and said, hey, why don't you be our third quarterback slash coach slash whatever. And just be because look, everybody beating him for this, Urban Meyer for this, but he's getting ready he's going into something he didn't have. He's got a lot of ambiguity about. He don't know nothing about coaching at the pro level. And he knows coaching, he knows X's and O's, he knows organization and structure. You don't win at full programs and not know organization and structure and how to build things. Obviously, he knows how to do that. Okay. But he's doing it in an entity, and it's constructed differently than the things that he's done at his other stops. So what do you do when you're doing something you don't know what you're doing, or you doing something that's unknown? You get somebody, a familiar face. You get an ally. Okay. Tim Tebow was his ally. Hell, I think they was even neighbors. Okay. So he got in Tim Tebow and see, but again, he wasn't reading the room because, hey, you got guys in there that's free agent rookie tight ends that's trying to make the team, and you're gonna put this guy that ain't never played the position, and he gonna get the position over there. You're gonna send this guy packing, and he really can actually play tight end. Been playing tight end probably in high school and college. This guy never played tight end. You got to teach him the position. And we know that after training camp, after some very forgettable preseason games where he totally whiffs on blocks, misses passes, and then runs the wrong routes and stuff, and finally it's like, okay, this ain't working this time. But he gotten off to a bad start. Okay, so already he done got off the wrong foot with his players and different things about a couple of moves that he's made. Then a couple of the games he didn't, some of the stuff he didn't do so well. He's kind of like not playing certain guys. And first of all, he said that there was a quarterback competition between him and Gardner Minshew, who's the incumbent. And our folks is, oh man, Urban ought to stop being silly. Why are you even putting Trevor through that? And again, people give him grief for that. But about 30 years prior to that, Jimmy Johnson kind of did the same thing in a kind of different way, but it's the same thing. When he took over the Cowboys, they drafted the number 1 draft pick, Troy Aikman, everything, All-American, probably the best quarterback prospect in several years. And they also drafted Steve Walsh, who had played for him at Miami, Jimmy Johnson. Got him in the supplemental draft. Okay. Now everybody know that. A lot of people didn't think Steve Walsh was an NFL quarterback. Okay, but he played for him at Miami and is a familiar face. Of course, Michael Irvin was a familiar face too, because he played for him at Miami also. Okay. Matter of fact, Michael Irvin was his liaison because when the year before Jimmy Johnson got there, Michael Irvin was disillusioned by a lot of the the players that he got there that was really just there collecting checks when he was trying to go off, when he was trying to go all out. And he was like, they would tell him, man, just get the season over with, man. We not good. That's just, you're doing too much, young kid. You'll learn. So when Jimmy Johnson got there, Michael Irvin pointed them guys like, yeah, that guy right there don't want to play. That guy right there just collecting the check. That guy right there. And they got rid of them guys. Okay. But Jimmy Johnson played Steve Walsh. It was basically almost like an even thing between Steve Walsh and Troy Aikman. Steve Walsh played like 4 years in the NFL, and Troy Aikman ended up being a Hall of Famer. I was like, quit playing. But that's what he did. He did that. Nope, but there wasn't no 24-hour news media then. Wasn't no Facebook and YouTube and stuff then. And he was allowed to make mistakes and stupid things. But he said later, yeah, I was just doing it to get his trade value up because we needed trade pieces to trade, so we played him to get his trade value up, then Troy ended up getting hurt. So he ended up having to play some anyway. So, but anyhow, so Urban Meyer does that. And then of course now the Cincinnati thing. Now let's see, these are some of the things that if you're intelligent people, I want y'all to not just don't take everything the media and to feed you, because they could have an agenda that they're trying to push. Okay. So we know sometime in, I think, early October, the Jacksonville Jaguars go on the road and they play in Cincinnati. And it was a good game. They was up 14-0. I think it was 21-7, but Cincinnati came back and beat them 24-21. It was a gut-wrenching loss. I thought I was actually pulling for Jacksonville to win that one. Come on, pulling for the underdog. I'll pull for the underdog. And they didn't win the game, and so everybody made this thing. So he decided to go to Ohio because he's from Ohio. People don't know that he's from Ohio. When he coached at Bowling Green, that's like going home. He's from Ohio, coaching. He got some things, some holdings. Remember, he's at Ohio State for like 8 years, 7-8 years. So he's got things there. Cincinnati and from Columbus ain't but like 200 miles apart. Okay, So, they made him, oh my God, he's a terrible human being. He left those kids and went to Cincinnati and went to Columbus. And I'm like, are y'all just believing anything they tell you? You actually think that this guy, when the game was over with, he was about to step on the bus and it's like, you know what? Second thought, y'all go on. I'm going to catch this taxi and I'm going to go to the thing and get a rental car and I'm going to drive up to Columbus. Y'all actually think that's what he did? Or do you have some sense and think like, hey, probably he looked at the schedule before the season and it's like, hey, we got to stop in Cincinnati about 4 or 5 weeks into the season. And, we're off the next week because it was a Thursday night game. Because that means that, they're off to the next Sunday. Okay. And we take that time off. And I guarantee he told his wife, and probably, I'm sure he told his people, his coaches and the people, yeah, we're going to probably take that and go and see about my people. Since I'm in Ohio, I'm here. Okay. I guarantee you that wasn't something he just did at the spur of the moment. Because Urban Meyer don't seem like that kind of person that just would just up and do something. Oh, you know what? Y'all go on. I'm going to run up here and stuff. Now, I got some things to do up here in Columbus. And y'all go on here. I guarantee you that was planned from before the season started. Because people don't just do stuff like that on the spur of the moment. If you was going on a trip somewhere that you wouldn't just decide to go like that, and whether you would just plan. I'm sure he had to pack stuff. Anyhow, I just think that, now I ain't got nothing for what he did while he was up there. And that on him, getting caught, in the bar. And he owned some bars in Columbus and stuff like that. And he made sure he put on his Ohio State pullover and hey, young gal, yeah, that's not a good look. It's not a good look. Now, don't get me wrong. He wouldn't be the first 57. I think he's 57-year-old, well-established, man, tall. He's nice looking and whatever, and he's got money and he's got other to go, to kind of, have his way with women. Now, that's not the first time you're gonna see something like that, okay? But you got to understand who you are, where you are, and who's around. And these are these times. Everybody got a camera phone. Everybody's on Facebook Live. You got to know that. The fact that you didn't know that, yeah, I got to dock you some points for that. Urban, I got definitely dock you some points for that. Okay? Definitely got to dock you some points because you can't get caught up in that kind of stuff. Okay, the guy that was supposed to be the head coach of the University of Alabama, I think his name was Mike Mitchell. What was his name? Mike Smith. Guy came from Washington State. I can't think what his name. I want to say it was 2002, 2003. Got caught up at a strip joint and with a girl. Now you the head coach of University of Alabama. Now you know that carries power. Got caught up and ended up getting his University of Alabama credit card taken from him. He drinking, and the strippers and stuff, and the girl, I think her name was Trixie or whatever, that was a stage name, end up with his Alabama credit card. Yeah, you can't do that, bro. Certain things when you're in certain positions, you just can't do. You just gotta know better. So yeah, I'm gonna dock you some points for that. Not docking him for the trip. I'm docking you for what you did while you was on the trip. Okay. If that was what you planned on doing the whole time or wasn't a spur of the moment, that's I got to do. Then there's some of the things that went on while he was at Jacksonville. Some of the stuff he was playing, lying to the media. Yeah, well, Trevor Lawrence don't like, they wonder why you run a quarterback sneak on those goal lines. Well, Trevor really not don't really like getting under center and stuff. And Trevor like, I never told him that. I'll play whatever you tell me to play. Kind of pulled the rug from under him. And then, he did some things. We got to fighting with Marvin Jones Jr. Got in a yelling match with him, but it wouldn't be the first time a head coach and players don't see eye to eye because he's established a culture and he's trying to. But Michael, everybody says Marvin Jones one of the most professional guys that he's played with. I think he played with Detroit, Cincinnati. I think that may be the only two teams he played for, but he's supposed to be like a veteran, like a professional. And he said, you get Marvin Jones, man. He must have been, so they kind of played that up and whatever. Then the situation with James Robinson, the running back, benching them for fumbling, but allowing Carlos Hyde, to play, even though he fumbled. Understanding Carlos Hyde played for him at Ohio State. Yeah. So that don't look good. Like you playing favorites. Okay. So the media played that up too. All right. And then the little thing with the kicker. Now I kind of got some issues with the kicker because it's sort of like you piling on. Because I'm gonna tell you something, and I've always said this: when people pile on and the public piles on, it's always something else going on. It's always something else going on. Somebody, you don't run across somebody and did somebody wrong, didn't push an agenda or a movement that they wanted you to push and pissed off the wrong one, and they get inundated with stuff. So there was a talk show that I listened to, podcast, and I'm always getting sports content and stuff. So I look like I know what I'm talking about when I talk to y'all. You know what I'm saying? But this is one talk show host. I'm not gonna mention him by name, and I like this particular talk show. But it seemed like every show for 15, sometimes 20 minutes, every episode, he was running down Urban Meyer about this. Urban Meyer said this, and he even had a name for him, called him Pervin Liar. Turn his name on. Every day was something about Urban Meyer. I kind of got tired. I'm like, dude, we get it. He made some mistakes. We get it. Okay, I got it. He made a mistake or two. Yeah, we get it. Who hasn't? Who hasn't, effed up some stuff? Who hasn't? It's part of life. You make mistakes, you live, you work from them. But every day, he's railing on him. Every day. Everybody, yeah, he did this. Yeah, he needed a day out. That's why he was up in that bar with the girl sitting in his lap. Dude, that was like 3 months ago. Why are you still on that? Every coaching mistake he made, they went for it on fourth down. What an idiot! He went for it on fourth down. Like, dude, why y'all beating on this dude? So at the end of the day, I listened to him, and it was like, he said, "Well, dadgummit, Urban, why you haul off and get yourself fired? Now I ain't got nothing to talk about." And I'm like, there it is right there. Okay. And see, to me, when you continually rail down folks, to me, that's the same as bullying. Because you continue to pile on people, piling on. And you would think that somebody like, okay, man, I see you now, let me help you up. But no, they ain't gonna help you up. They boom, off the top rope. They don't piling on top of you. So here comes this kicker, and he's like, "Oh yeah, when we was in training camp, before the preseason, I was stretching, and he kicked me. Told her, dip. You know what? Won't you make some kicks?" And he kicked me. And I never have. And look, and a lot of these movements, the whatever two movements, look, I'm always, if somebody did something wrong, did something, I messed over somebody, did something, I think you ought to pay for it, whatever the law says you're supposed to get. Okay. But I never have like folks coming a day late and $1 short saying such and something, such and such a person did something, and it's something you can't prove. It's just hearsay. And really, it's not aimed to be proven. It's just to go into the court of public opinion to soil that person's reputation even more. It's like it's a moving train already moving. Well, I just throw that on top of the train that's already moving. Or you got a stack of mail that's going out, and the mailman's coming. You got a letter, you ain't got no stamp on it. You just slide in the month, just let it go on with the rest of the mail. That's what they're doing. You're just piling on. He said he kicked. So anyway, another podcast I listened to, they interviewed this lady coach. That used to be the coach of a strength and conditioning coach or something that I think it was the New York Jets. Kind of got my issues with that too. Not about women not having opportunities and things like that. Just don't know about them being coaches, because you kind of almost, you're coaching, you almost got to be in the locker room and stuff. That just seems like that's just ammunition for things to go sideways. That's just now. Do I think a woman could be a GM of an NFL team? Absolutely. Do I think a woman could be like the owner of an NFL team? Absolutely. Should she be a coach the way you can get? I don't know. That just seems like a slope where you have it would lead to some things that you don't want to be led to. And it's like, that's whatever. Neither here nor there. Her name was Colette Smith. Okay. And she used to be the head of one of the strength and conditioning coaches or something of the New York Jets. And so they had her on, and they really thought she was going to pile on Urban with them. But she threw them a monkey wrench. So they asked her, "Hey, this kicker here, he did this. He was up there stretching, and Urban comes sauntering through, and he says, hey, dip, you know what?" And he said, you don't supposed to be talking to players like that. She said, no, we call players all kind of things because we coaches. You kind of got to get on that level, and sometimes you got to get with them." And they were like, they didn't know what to say for a second. I was like, oh, they expect a woman to think that, but she a coach. So you kind of got to get with the players. You can't just be in there, "All right, guys, let's do some stretches. All right, guys, let's go do our lunges." No, you got to get in there because a lot of times guys ain't wanting to do that. They have to be essing around and stuff. Hey, get your up and let's go. Get one more set. Let's go. Sometimes you got to talk. She said, yeah, sometimes you got to talk to him like that. He said, well, you surely got a problem. He was coming by kicking him. She said, well, I'm not going to speak on that because I don't know what context he kicked him. Sometimes you got to get with, she was like, sometimes you got to get with the play. You got to, she said, it's just a mentality and a way you got to be a coach to get these guys to do things that sometimes they don't want to do. But the kinder, gentler people that are outside that are really ruining the sport, they kind of want it to be a kinder, gentler, and legislate testosterone out of everything. Because, there's people that want testosterone eliminated from society. You know that, right? I know I'm delving into some things that probably go get me in trouble, but I don't care. I'm going to say, Uncle Fred going to say what he's going to say. When you go to work now, because I know when I go to work, I got to stand in front of this thing and it scans my face and it tells me what my temperature is. If it's above 99, above 90, whatever, I gotta, either I gotta go cool off or whatever and come back and try it again, see whatever. If the folks had what they wanted in place, there'll be a testosterone meter. If you walked in the building, it will get your testosterone levels. And if it's too high, you gotta go home and watch Hallmark or something to get your testosterone down and be more, but they want to check testosterone, but estrogen runs amok. Ain't nobody checking estrogen, but testosterone is toxic. But anyway, I'm digressing. But anywho, they but she said that sometimes you gotta kind of talk like you talk and say, yeah, he might have kicked him. I said, now how he kicked him? She said, I gotta see how he kicked him and how he talked to him. Because sometimes you gotta get with them guys, And sometimes I told guys I call guys all kind of stuff, and they talk back. That's kind of the way that entity is. It's like that, But anyhow, but this guy, I think he may be part of. Now, if he did that, look, man, I'm gonna tell you just like this, man. If I'm a grown man and I'm playing for you, you come by, you kick me. You see how I'm looking at you right now? Yeah, it's not gonna end well. Okay, all right. If we don't now, but all that's going to depend on what kind of relationship we have. Now, if it's a relationship where I know you play with, because I guarantee you, if you've seen some of the things with Bill Parcells, I guarantee you, he talked junk to them players, hit them players, do all that. But they do that with him. But if some guy I don't know nothing about, you just looking at me, we ain't got no kind of relationship, you kick me, yeah, it's going to be some furniture moving, Yeah, and I might get cut, but you're going to get cut too, all up and down your face. You're going to get cut too. So if that happens, so you add all that stuff together, you got all these things going on. So Urban Meyer he got fired, and like I said, I don't know how I feel about it. I think, like I said, I ain't an Urban Meyer fan. I rooted for the teams he was playing against, the teams he's playing, coaching for. Like I say, he's in Florida because I like Alabama, so whatever. No, and I kind of liked it when we beat them in 2009 and had Tim Tebow crying. I kind of liked it. Yeah, he was crying, sitting on the thing crying. Yeah, I like that. I was liking that. Then they got us back in 2014 when they beat us in the BCS FCS semifinals in 2014. So I've never really rooted for Urban Meyer or anything like that, but I've always had respect for him. And I just this is what I think. This is what I want y'all to say, and then we'll go to the next subject and whatnot. I spent way too much time on Urban Meyer. I just believe that you just ain't gonna just urinate in the air and tell me that it's rain, because I know better. Uncle Fred, I may not be the smartest booklet, but I got good common sense. And I just believe that if a guy is successful at Bowling Green, is successful at Utah, is successful at Florida, successful at Ohio State, is successful at Fox Sports, all of those times, I'm sure. And he was a successful coach. He done sat in folks' living rooms. He done recruited kids. He done sat there with moms and dads in their living rooms. You know, at all these programs, he got staff members and stuff that he's worked with and associated with, and they were under him. Now, the only thing I remember happened to him at Ohio State that one of his assistant coaches, allegedly beat his wife up, and he didn't say nothing about it. Which, yeah, I kind of got an issue with that. Me and him would have had to have a talk. Like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing here? And I'd have gave him an opportunity, like, you to get this fixed. I'm about to let you go because this can't get out. You need to get your life in order. I would have had that meeting with him, and then if it would, yeah, you got to roll. But in all these places that he was at, he had relationships before. So all of a sudden, he don't know how to talk to folks. All of a sudden, he's a Neanderthal. All of a sudden, he's just saying crazy things to folks. He's been successful everywhere he's been. I read you his record, 187-32. That's like an 850-something winning percentage. Okay? He's been successful every place he's been. But all of a sudden, he's just he don't know how to talk. He's a nincompoop. He don't know coaching system. He don't know how to talk to players. He don't know how to handle players. Now I understand there's a difference in handling pros and college, whatever. And Skip Bayless said something too. I was listening to him. I think it was the day when he was talking about it, and he was telling me. He said it was a lot of similarities with Urban Meyer, what was going on with Jimmy Johnson. Like I tell you, Jimmy Johnson with the 2 quarterbacks. Jimmy Johnson also tried to instill some of the college ways into the Cowboys when he took over, because that's what he knew. That's the way he knew how to organize and stuff like that. He even went as far as when they went on trips on different things. He was going to eat, going whatever. He would try to put the offense on one bus and the defense on another bus. And it's like, Jimmy, we don't do it like that. It just kind of, sign the seats and everybody's kind of, we don't do it by offense and defense. And there were some other things. He was talking to folks, cutting folks that, falling asleep in practice. He was doing something that if social media was involved then like it is now, 24, you got to understand, this is 89, 90, okay? Was it internet? I don't even think it was internet. May have been sketchy internet. Wasn't no 24-hour news. I think Sports Center went off at like 12. TV went off at 12. Wasn't all of this stuff. Wasn't no social media. Wasn't no Facebook Live, Instagram, camera phones, TikTok, and all this stuff. Because Jimmy probably would have got fired in the council culture we got today. But he ended up being he learned from his mistakes, and he ended up being a Hall of Fame coach that won 2 Super Bowls. But he had to make his mistakes and establish his culture. He had to do that. I don't think they let Urban do that because there's some missteps, and they didn't let him learn from them. And I think Shah Khan, I think that's what the owner's name was, under pressure. They was pressuring him, and he had to go ahead and let Urban go. But but you know what, man? Urban bounced back. He'll bounce back. He'll definitely bounce back. Whatever. Maybe he'll learn from this, and I don't think he'll ever get another NFL job because, like I said, it is different dealing with college kids, 18, 19, where they're depending on you, and they'll do anything you say because they want that playing time. That playing time leads them to be seen. That being seen leads them to be drafted. And that's all that. But you holding their futures in their hand. These NFL players, oh no, their futures already, you really work for them, actually. So I don't think he kind of adjusted to that. I would have if you just gave him time. Because really, the team wasn't doing that well, but neither is the Jets. Robert Saleh not doing well either. Matter of fact, that lady that was cut, she said the Jets are a joke. But she didn't go into no detail because she said she didn't want no, whatever. She said she still got relationships with some of them people. She said, but the Jets are a joke. So that led me to believe that what Jacksonville got going on ain't got nothing on how bad the Jets are. But they ain't trying to fire Robert Saleh because he ain't pissed off the wrong folks. The same thing with David Culley, who's a African-American dude getting the job, which is a big thing. But the Texans ain't playing well, man. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that, man. But in other news in the NFL, COVID is running rapid. And there's a lot of teams, Washington, Cleveland, Minnesota, there's several teams missing key players. I think Cleveland's going to have this time, going to have the head coach. Baker Mayfield's going to be not playing because of COVID and some other things, and there's a whole bunch of other teams. But I think it's right after the holidays. People are seeing people. People that flew into other places, had people fly in to see them. And you see in this second or third week after Thanksgiving that a lot of these numbers rose up. And I feel particularly sensitive because the Cowboys just played the Washington football team just last week. And so I'm sure if they got something, whatever, they got exposed. Maybe they got, but there was some other team, the New York Giants. It was about 7 teams that's hit real hard by this. NBA teams too hit real hard. Matter of fact, the Chicago Bulls was barely able to put a team on the floor. Same thing with the Brooklyn Nets. They had 7 players, and if Kevin Durant didn't play the whole game, they would have to forfeit. So there's a lot of things going on in that regard. So I advise folks to stay safe. You know, I know people are vaccinated. You know, that don't mean you can't get stuff because an Omicron variant is out there. It's more contagious, but I heard it's not as hard on you as the Delta and the others. But I mean, people, take care of yourselves. You know, take care of yourselves. I'm gonna tell you that. And I got one more thing to talk about, and I'm gonna let y'all go, and we're gonna be done for the night. Travis Hunter, cornerback, Cotton Hill Prep, Sewanee, Georgia. Number 1 or number 2, whatever prognostication thing you look at, cornerback in the country coming out of high school. Had offers from Alabama, from Auburn, Georgia, Clemson, Florida State, East Carolina, and a bunch of other teams. But you know who he chose? He chose Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi to play for Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. Yeah, that's all right, man. I saw her, and I know a lot of people are upset about that. A lot of these Power 5 teams and these white institutions. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to pick no fights. But a lot of time when people make decisions that you think go against it, people start showing their true colors. Now all of a sudden he's an idiot now because he made that decision. And I guarantee you in your life you made some decisions based on, you probably married somebody you didn't have no business married, but you was allowed to make that decision. Nobody called you an idiot, you know, or whatever you might have done. Picked a job or chose to pack up and leave and go to another part of the country or something when it didn't look like, people take chances. But I'm happy for Coach Prime and Jackson State and the HBCUs. I'm happy for them because this will start a trend. Now I know a lot of the people, the Alabamas, the Auburns, will talk bad about that. But look, man, there's so many athletes out there, man. If the HBCUs get 5 of the 500 or whatever, is that going, or 10 of the 500 or 15 of the 5 of the, is that going to hurt you? You still going to be able to do what you do because y'all got facilities and stuff like that. They still got to get to that point. Okay. So, yeah. So there's a trend going on because a lot of these professional players and coaches are going to the HBCUs and they're building those programs up. You see Hugh Jackson, he's at Grambling now. Okay. And you got Eddie George that's at Tennessee State in Nashville there. So you got, and there's some others now, all of them I can't think of them off the top of my head. But yeah, they're making it where, the HBCUs is a viable alternative if you want to go to this school, and hopefully they can do that, get their viewership up, build up the program where they can be able to, get their facilities up. And then, these players can come back and give them and give back money to them when they become pros, build up their endowments like these Power 5 schools have. Some of these schools have several $1 billion endowments. HBCUs all together, all 100 and whatever of them, is like got $1 billion endowment. That's when donors come back and give money to them and stuff like that. So whereas a lot of people is upset about that, I'm not. And I think there was some other 5-stars and 4-stars that went to Alabama A&M University. That's right here where I live, and they got some prospects that would have. But this is the first time a 5-star athlete ever went to not just an HBCU, to an FCS school, which is a Division I AA. It stands for Football Championship Series, whatever, as opposed to the others, which is FBS, which is Football Bowl Series. Because Division I goes to the bowls, and the 1 AA actually play a championship, so that's why they're the championship series. but no FCS school ever got a 5-star athlete. Now, a lot of athletes came out there, end up being 5 stars, not as long as they've been calling them, ranking them by stars. But I want you to know this: back in the day, when the HBCU, when the these other schools were sort of segregated, and I didn't want to get into this kind of discussion, but I know we just shooting the breeze now. Do you not know how many Hall of Fame guys came out of the HBCUs? I'm talking about Jerry Rice, because it wasn't segregated then. We got Jerry Rice, you got Walter Payton, which it may have been slightly segregated. We're talking about in the 70s, mid-70s, mid to early 70s. Ed Too Tall Jones, I know I'm reaching back on some of y'all. Richard Dent, both of them went to Tennessee State. Charlie Joyner, Willie Lanier, all these guys went to these different schools. My man Bob Hayes, Bullet Bob Hayes, went to Florida A&M. Doug Williams, Steve McNair. Okay, all these went to HBCUs, which stands for historically black colleges and universities. Okay, and so I'm happy for that. And all the other folks just put a sock in it. Y'all gonna be all right. Y'all gonna be all right. Florida State gonna be all right. Florida State wasn't going nowhere. What they win? 6 games last year? Folks is mad because there was Florida State. He had talked about Florida State, and that's where he was gonna go, but he flipped and went to chose Jackson State under Coach Prime. Now, if you a cornerback, would you rather play for Mike Norvell or play for Prime Time? You're a cornerback. You're a corner. You're a defensive back. You got an option to play. Door A, you play for Mike Norvell at Florida State, who's probably going to get fired this year, or Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, arguably the best cornerback who's ever played football, ever picked up a football. What could you learn from him that you can't learn from this guy? I'm just saying from a practical perspective. Now, I know he's going to have people that position coaches and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, if you got a problem on coverage, problem on how covering techniques or something like that, you can always go in Coach Prime's office and say, hey, Coach, I got a problem with this cover. Tell me how to play this. And that dude will tell you how to cover that thing to the hilt. So anyway, but that's something right there, man. And then maybe that gets a trend. Maybe some of these HBCUs that get to maybe a couple of 4 stars and maybe a 5-star they was considering going to a Power 5 school, but it's gonna go here. If enough of them go, maybe they'll get their viewership up and get their games up and get them on TV more and sell out their games. They're able to build bigger stadiums and stuff and do all this stuff. And it's just but somebody had to be the sacrificial lamb, if you will, but I think I've heard he got a meal offer from Barstool Sports Gaming, so I don't know if that's true or not. I heard there was some rumors or whatnot up in the maybe $1 million or something like that. So even if he don't make it in the NFL, he got some money, that Neil, just like anything else, it's well deserved, because I think the people that should have been paying the players or giving them some sort of something was making off with billions of dollars. Now, if they can make money on their own, I ain't got no problem with it, So anyway, that's all I got from the desk of Uncle Fred. When we talked about COVID, we talked about, I hadn't even got to my pick'ems for the week. I'm going to do another video for my pick'ems and give my pick'ems for the week. I've already a day late. Kansas City and the Los Angeles Chargers already played, and I was going to pick Pat, but whatever. I think they may have won. I'm not sure, but we'll come back and do that. But just wanted to give you my little 2 cents worth on those things, on those topics. Urban Meyer, the COVID, and then the Travis Hunter thing with Jackson State, man. All right. Even though I roll with the Alabama A&M Bulldogs, so that's kind of where I'm, as HBCUs go, because that's where I am. But you know what? From a distance, I'm going to cheer for Coach Prime, except when they're not playing A&M. Okay. All right. But that's all I got from the desk, Uncle Fred. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I know I tackled some controversial things, and I hope I didn't offend nobody, nothing I said, but you know what? This is how I feel, and you ain't got to feel the same way. We can still be friends. We can still be cool. All right? That's the thing. This new culture, you can disagree and you want to counsel folk. Won't get my channel took off the air because I said something you didn't like. Why don't you just not like it and whatever and move on? It's all right. It's cool, but you ain't got it. Cancel culture don't have to persist. We can cut that off anytime we want and start to understand one another, because understand sometimes folks just going to be different. We're going to think different. We're going to have different opinions. Uncle Fred got his own perspective, but my perspective comes from being around 50 plus years and seeing some things that probably you ain't seen. Just take that into consideration. But that's all I got. Please like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, I welcome any comment, either play, good, bad, or indifferent. Just let me know you're watching. And thank you for watching the video. But that's all I got. Y'all take care. God bless y'all, and y'all please take care of yourselves. Okay. All right. That's all I got.